So we gotta sit closer. Peace. Right.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello, this is Masonry Repair.
Who am I speaking?
Masonry Repair Replacement Services, John Morris.
Oh, no. No, wrong number.
Good morning.
Excuse
Good
me,
morning.
Yeah.
we're hang tight. We're going to be starting shortly.
Is this the meeting?
This is the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for the City of Cleveland.
Okay. Yeah, I just had someone on here said they were from a repair.
Yes, this is Masonry Repair Replacement Services. I'm in here for a meeting.
Just please wait
But this
until your case is called.
Okay.
Okay, this is Cleveland Board of Zoning Appeals meeting, right?
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm at the right place. Thank you. This is Kimberly Carter.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, my God.
And I am Daniela Barbalo.
Everyone, there's no need to speak until you've been called upon, so thank you. Liz, it's 9:30. We can go ahead and get started.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, this Monday, May 1st, 2023. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the Codified Ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conduct its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak in a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on our particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And once again, as Liz said, if you are not speaking, please mute yourself because we can hear your background right now. So make sure you are completely muted until we call upon. All right, go ahead, call the order, please, Liz.
Thank you. Ms. Roca,
Present.
Ms. Holzer,
Present.
Ms. Brown,
Present.
Ms. Faith,
Present.
Ms. Britt.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a full complement of board.
Thank you. We have a postponement today.
We do. We have one postponement, and this is regarding calendar number 23-062, 1416 West 57th Street. Corey Eishen proposed to change use of a 2-story masonry church to a 3-family residence in a B12 family residential district. This request for postponement came from the city due to a change in the adjudication. We did give it a date because we found it was an internal issue. We gave it a date of May 15th so that we can, get them back on the agenda as quick as possible. So there will be no testimony on this case this morning. And if you receive the paper copy, we will send out another paper copy notice in the mail. And that's all that we have this morning for postponements and withdrawals, Madam Chair.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, so
And we
anyone
do have-
that's, oh, go ahead.
We do have Councilman Conwell on the line as well. I just wanted to remind you or let you know of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
So
also
anyone that's here-
see Councilman.
Anyone that's here for this case, hold on. So anyone that's here for 23-062, Unless you just want to hang out with us this morning, you can leave the meeting. Okay. So what council people in order were here? Does anyone see who got here first?
I
Xander.
believe go ahead, Liz.
Oh, I was just deferring to you. I was going to ask you directly. I think we just were able to get Councilman Conwell on just a few minutes ago, maybe 5 minutes ago.
Okay, so I think Councilman Griffin was on before that, so we'll go to his case.
And Madam Chair, for these administrative appeals, would you like me to read them in one by one or in bulk, if you will?
Yeah, you have to. Is this
One by one.
is this Councilman Griffin's case? Is we're calling his first.
He's
Can
giving
we-
a thumbs up.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Yes, read them in one by one, please.
And would you like me to read them all at once, or are we going to swear in after each one?
Are these, Liz, what's the is it all about a housing violation for, why are they broken out?
So they are individual violation notices. Each violation notice has a different number. But they
Okay.
all are regarding establishing use without a certificate of occupancy.
But if they're different violations, then we'll read them in one at a time then.
Sounds good. So our first case is calendar number 23-033. Rula Khalil is appealing the decision of Building and Housing to issue a violation notice regarding an illegal use at 9000 East 78th Street. Rula Khalil appeals under the authority of Section 76-6 of the Charter of the City of Cleveland and Section 329.02D of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances from the issuance of violation notices V22034042 regarding establishing use as a storage of vehicles pending wrecking or dismantling on the premises without a certificate of occupancy as required by Sections 327.02C and Section 345.03C33. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Brown for the oath.
Good morning. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address, please.
Right, something, right. That's how
I do, Blaine Griffin, 601 Lakeside.
Yeah. Too much brain.
If you want, I can forward that.
Albert Svitek.
Okay.
I do.
Please,
And
your
601
address, please.
601 Lakeside.
Thank you. The appellants, we need you to swear in, please.
See his name on, their name on here, so.
Okay, just as a reminder, Madam Chair, to the applicant, if you're on the phone, press star and 6 to unmute yourself.
I do.
Can you say your entire name and provide your address, please?
Rula Khalil. 3422 East 78.
Thank you. Anyone else to speak for this case? Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is appealing administrative decisions of the Division of Building and and/or Division of Housing. The standard of review is whether the administrative decision was illegal, arbitrary, capricious, unreasonable, or unsupported by the preponderance of substantial, reliable, and probative evidence. If the appellant fails to meet this burden, the administrative decision must be affirmed. I don't think this other portion is necessary here since they're really just appealing the decision. So ignore that other paragraph.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Khalil, tell us what your appeal is. Ms. Khalil?
She's back on mute again.
Okay, *6, right, Liz?
That's correct, yes.
Hi,
Okay.
I'm speaking for part my mom. She doesn't really understand too much English.
Well, you need to be sworn in.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply, I do. State your name and your address.
I do. Aya Woody, 3422 East 78th Street.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Woody.
Okay, so what was it that you guys wanted to know?
She submitted an appeal for this, so she needs to prove her case to us or why she wants this appeal.
Okay, so she just and she had the violations for the for whatever the zones were that she had violated on.
Okay, she's appealing us because apparently, I guess she feels like she wasn't rightfully given these violations. So you all need to talk to us about what happened and why you think the city was incorrect in giving you these violations.
Yeah, these cars weren't being wrecked on that land. They were just there until somebody had picked them up for the time being. And whoever was had given those violations told my mom that they were just warnings. And we had moved the cars like after that, like right away.
Or each of these violations for cars?
Yeah.
But at the time that you got these violations, the cars were sitting there, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Xavier, can you make this a little bit bigger on the screen here?
Sure, let me let's move over there. Okay. That's correct.
Okay. And Ms. Woody, was there a charge with these violations?
No, I don't believe so. I'm not sure.
Okay, so your letter here, if you move over to the other side a little bit, Xavier, it says you acknowledge the violations, so I'm not sure why we're here then.
I'm pretty sure that she did have the violations, but I'm not sure. I don't know, honestly.
Okay. Councilman, can you shed any light on this? But if we have a letter here saying they acknowledge the violations, I'm not sure we can go any further, but go ahead.
Sure, just briefly. I think that Ms. Khalil is and her daughter, they have tried to reach out Approximately earlier this year, or maybe late last year, actually, I began getting complaints about a junkyard popping up on East 78th Street. Upon reviewing it, it was an atrocity. It was really, really bad. It was really a really bad situation. So subsequently, Building and Housing has issued several violation notices because they did not have an occupancy of permit. A lot of the residents in the area were irate that this just popped up and nobody had any record of them even trying to go through any processes. I think that there are some other barriers which may be preventing them from doing that. Nevertheless, this yard is just a violation to the entire area. The police have had to tow several cars. Tens of cars. Tens, maybe 20s or 30s on vacant streets that were around there. So I think that, they may have been the victim of somebody that really have not explained all of the rules of the city. Needless to say, this junkyard is really an atrocity to the neighborhood, and I cannot support it.
Okay, so, once again, if you're acknowledging the violation, I'm not as sure what the appeal is about here. Legal, am I going in the right direction here?
Pure so. I mean, they have to prove that the decision in providing these violations were capricious, unreasonable, so on and so forth. Then if they're acknowledging the violation, that's in effect saying that, yeah, they had a good reason to make to provide that violation. So at this point, I think you're going the right direction.
Okay,
Madam
all
Chair,
right,
if I may.
yes,
So when the applicant made this application to our office, they acknowledged that there was, the violation notices were cited. They were informed that permits were going to be required if they wanted to continue. Just for informational purposes, they did state that they were requesting more time. And so the scheduling of this basically gave them extra time to, apply for a permit for if they wanted to continue the use here. So I believe that also the inspector is on here. I thought I heard him swear in, Mr. Svitek. If you wanted more information on that, but the applicant is aware that if they want to continue the use, they must pull a permit to establish the use legally. Thank you.
okay, yeah, we can hear from the inspector, just to have everything on record, but I think I know what direction we're going in here. But go ahead, Mr. Spittick.
Thank you. The issue at hand that I believe the property owner may be overlooking is that the property is zoned semi-industry, and dismantling vehicles is not allowed in semi-industry. If she were to pursue a change of zoning for general industry, she does have neighbors who are general industry. There is dismantling of cars legally happening right across the street across the other side of the railroad track. Also, other neighbors who also abut residential properties are on general industry. A certificate of occupancy is probably not going to be allowed to be issued on this property because of how it's zoned. That's semi-industry. But if she could pursue changing that zoning to general industry, then we could go about making her operation legal, which I, from when she's spoken to me, that's what I infer from the conversations, that she wants to save her business, but she seems to be confused as to how to go about that and navigate all of these proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I think we need to deal with these appeals today, and then if she wants to move forward, then she'll have to go through the proper city processes. So with that being said, I'll open it up to the board if they have any questions for the appellant. Hearing no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, we're dealing with just at this point, calendar number 23-033. Do you want to include the other cases?
I think
At
so.
this point?
Do this letter. I think it's fine to bundle them together.
All right. So do we need to do anything else in terms of reading the other cases into the record or?
Yes, please. Yep. So Ms. Holzer, go ahead and read the other two in.
The
I
other
think there's
three
three.
of them.
Oh, 4 altogether?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 3.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
All right.
It's a bundle.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
gonna take a sip before I do it. Okay, so we have calendar number 23-034. Another administrative appeal. Rula Khalil is appealing the decision of Building and Housing to issue a violation notice regarding illegal use at 3422 East 78th Street. Rula Khalil appeals under the authority of Section 76-6 of the Charter of the City of Cleveland and Section 329.02D of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances from the issuance of violation notices V23-000728 regarding establishing use as storage of vehicles pending wrecking or dismantling on the premises without a certificate of occupancy as required by Sections 327.02C and Section 345.03C33. Next, we have calendar number 23-035. Again, Rula Khalil is appealing the decision of Building and Housing to issue a violation notice regarding illegal use on PPN parcel 125-36-047, also known as 3422 East 78th Street. Rula Khalil appeals under the authority of Section 76-6 of the Charter of the City of Cleveland and Section 329.02D of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances from the issuance of violation notice V23-000729 regarding establishing use as storage of vehicles pending wrecking or dismantling on the premises without a certificate of occupancy as required by Sections 327.02C and Section 345.03C33. And finally, we have calendar number 23-036. Rula Khalil appealing the decision of Building and Housing to issue a violation notice regarding illegal use on parcel 125-36-048, also known as 3422 East 78th Street. Rula Khalil appeals under the authority of Section 76-6 of the Charter of the City of Cleveland and Section 329.02D of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances from the issuance of violation notices V23-000730 regarding establishing use as storage of vehicles pending wrecking or dismantling on the premises without a certificate of occupancy as required by Sections 327.02C and Section 345.03C33.
Thank you. So
Yep.
we've all been sworn in for these cases. So we'll just do the legal standard. I'm assuming it's the same one for all.
Yeah, the legal standard's the same for all of them, minus that second part, which would be only if they were asking for a variance.
Right.
So, Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is appealing administrative decisions of the Division of Building and/or Division of Housing. Standard of review is whether the administrative decision was legal, arbitrary, capricious, unreasonable, or unsupported by the preponderance of substantial, reliable, and probative evidence. The appellant fails to meet this burden. The administrative decision must be affirmed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we have all those on the record. I believe you can proceed now, Ms. Faith.
Great. Madam Chair, given the testimony we've heard and the evidence that was on the screen, the letter from the appellant and the statement from Councilman Griffin and the inspector for the area that was on site, I move that we affirm the Building and Housing decision of the violations for calendar number 23-033, calendar 23-034, calendar 23-035, and calendar 23-036.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Board Member Roca seconds.
Ms. Roca with the second. Go ahead, call the roll, please.
Ms. Olter,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Vaith,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar numbers 23-033, 23-034, 23-035, and 23-036 are denied. The violation notices have been upheld. We will ratify these decisions next week, and we will send the appellant a letter. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Woody, I believe if you guys want to continue working or in the capacity that you are, Liz, that would mean they will want a zoning change, correct? So they'd have to come see you anyway?
First, they would have to apply to building and housing, yes.
Yeah.
But eventually they'll come to me.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just briefly, can they also meet with the Slavic Village Development Corporation to really get some ideas on what would be amenable to the community as they develop this process? I honestly think she means well, but I don't think she realized how egregious this
It's a
looks to be.
communication breakdown. Yeah.
And so I just really would hope she would work with Slavic Village so that they could see what's amenable for the area, okay?
Okay. Thank you. All right, next case.
These
I was
next two are Councilman Conwell's area. I apologize.
Just going to ask if you're going to Councilman Conwell's. Okay. Next, we have calendar number 22-233. This is at 9119 Kempton Avenue. Bill Page, owner, proposes to establish use as a residential facility / family home for a maximum of 5 residents in an A1 one-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. On January 23rd, oh goodness, I'm already tongue-tied from those last few. On January 23rd, the councilman requested that the case be postponed to March 6th to allow time for community review. This case was then dismissed on March 6th due to the appellant's absence. Staff found after the hearing that the appellant's letter had been returned as undeliverable and was rescheduled to March 20th. On March 20th, this case was postponed to May 1st to allow the appellant more time to meet with the community. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address.
I affirm. Oh. I affirm.
Is that
Councilman Kevin
Councilman?
Conwell?
I do. Kimberly Carter, 51, excuse me, 5169 Morris Lane.
I do. Bill Page, 9119 Kempton.
Anyone else for this case? Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in, excuse me, in 1916, a permit was issued to erect a dwelling. In 1920, a permit was issued to erect a dwelling addition. We have found no variances on file for this address. And in the more recent history, we found that in 2020, a rental registration was issued to the property. And I believe that's all that I have that's relevant. Thank you.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting an area variance from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Carter, is this your project?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, tell us what you'd like to do.
What I'm trying to do is open up a home for elderly residents. I also had a petition signed that I sent in to council for the residents in the neighborhood that's okay with what I'm trying to do and bring to the neighborhood. I also have a notarized letter from Mr. Bill Page, which is the property owner, that what I'm trying to do he agreed with. I'm also a business owner in the city of Cleveland in the Glenville area. I have a successful clothing store located on 105-907. I also is a business owner of a full-service salon in the Glenville area at 8970 105th Street. And I only brought good things to this neighborhood. I grew up in this neighborhood all my life for 56 years. And what I'm trying to do is bring back things to our neighborhood that we really need. And this is something that we really need. And as I stated, I went down the whole street of Kempton and had a petition signed that the residents agree and they are on board with what we're trying to do.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about the operations, like how many people you have in the house, employees, will you be dispensing medication, like that kind of stuff? We need to know about what's going on the inside.
Okay, no problem. It'll be 5 residents that's full function. They go to work. They're able to take care of themselves. They're able to administer their own medication. It's just a residence where we assist them with people that cannot live on their own, but they can function in different programs in society. Meals will be prepared and all their needs will be met in the home with things that they need. They will have social workers that will come out and address any issues that they may have as they try to be a productive citizen in society. We will have different organizations coming in to take them out for activities. They will not be a risk to or a nuisance to the neighborhood. They have workshops that they will attend. We will have staff on board. We will have someone there every shift, 24 hours, to make sure things are being ran properly.
Okay, and that would be one person for each shift?
Yes.
Okay, and these are senior citizens, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Schachner, you had your hand up?
Yes, my apologies, Madam Chair, but this is also a use variance. My apologies for not making the PowerPoint there. If I could just read that standard real quick.
Yes.
Okay, so to obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Clark, so you have 5 residents, so they're fairly independent other than what you stated will be happening in the home, and you'll have 1 employee per shift, but that'll be 24 hours. So how long is one shift?
8-hour shift.
8-hour shift. Okay, Mr. Page, is there anything you wanted to add, being the actual homeowner?
Oh, no, she pretty much addressed everything that we was trying to do.
Okay, thank you. Councilman?
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Well, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Carter is correct. She's right. She grew up in the neighborhood. She cares about the neighborhood. Her and her significant other, they do a lot of things, back to school programs in the community. She took the business off of Omen, and it was blight there. Now the business is very valuable. It's very vibrant. I mean, there's no drug activity in that area where it used to be drug activity. And she, everywhere she goes in the Glenville community, she makes it a better place for people in that community. And now it's even a gathering home. I visit Ms. Carter other business. I think a few years back that she had similar to this. Everything she just narrated to you, she was doing in her house. And I just made a friendly visit there. It was in Ward 4. Neighborhood nice, no people had any complaints. I'm going to support this. No neighbors have pushed back against this. And what I told her, I said, okay, Ms. Carter, if you go out and you talk with the residents and they don't push against this, I'm with you 100%. Because the people on that street need to be able to support it because they live on that street. Not the councilman, but the residents. And so the residents didn't have any pushback. They support her. They know her from the community. And she has an up-close view and a genuine concern, a sensitive ear to help out the residents on that street. Therefore, I'm asking the board to support this project.
Great, thank you, Councilman. City Planning.
Hello, this is Xavier Bay, representing City Planning. Given the councilman and nearby residents' support for this and the positive work history that the applicant already has, we'd recommend approval.
Thank you. I'll open it up now to my board for any questions or comments.
Madam Chair, I just have a question about how many beds will be in each bedroom.
Each client has their own room. Everybody has their own private room. We're not doing any room sharing. So we have 5 bedrooms with 5 beds. Everyone has their own dresser, mirror, chair. You know, everything is set up nice for each client for their own privacy.
Thank you.
Any other questions, board? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, we'd like to thank the Councilman Conwell for his statement today and support of this project. Ms. Carter delineated all of her plans and it sounds like she's a valued member of the community. We have support from city planning and support of the council person. And it sounds like the seniors will have a nice situation with having 1 bedroom per person with staff each shift, each 8-hour shift for three shifts a day. So with all that being said, I move that we approve the variance for calendar number 22-233.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Board Member Holzer, I second.
Ms. Holzer with the second. Go ahead, call the roll.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Bay,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar number 22-233 is granted. It'll be ratified next week, and then we will send the appellant a letter.
All right, great. Thank you, Ms. Carter. Good luck with everything.
And thank everyone that's on this line. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, she'll do a good job. You'll do a good job. Take care. God bless.
Yeah. Thank everybody. Bye-bye.
Okay, next case.
I was muted. I apologize. Our next case is calendar number 23-026. This is at 9900 Austin Avenue. Tamara Washington, owner, proposes to establish use as a residential facility for 5 occupants in a B12 family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. This case was postponed from March 6th to April 3rd at the request of the councilman to allow time for further review. It was then postponed a second time from April 3rd to May 1st at the request of the councilman due to him needing to be out of town. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address.
I affirm. 601 Lakeside, Cleveland, Ohio, 44114.
Say your name, please.
Councilmember Kevin
Councilman.
Cromwell.
Thank you.
Irene Hollyfield, 9911 Austin Avenue, Cleveland.
I do. Tamara Washington Jones, 27091 Fullerwood Drive.
I do. Tammy Jones, address 9922 Austin Avenue.
I do. Khalid Hawthorne from Ecos Foundation.
Sharon Rose,
Ansel Road.
9915 Austin.
Sorry, go ahead, Khalil. I couldn't hear you.
Khalid Hawthorne. I do. Khalid Hawthorne, 1325 Ansel Road from Ecos Foundation.
Okay, what was the lady that just spoke? Can you repeat your name, please?
Sharon Rose, 9915 Austin Avenue.
Okay, is that it? I don't know what happened to Ms. Brown. So is that everyone for this case? All right. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1913, a permit was issued to erect a residence on the property, a two-story residence. In 1916, a permit was issued to erect a garage. There are no variances on file. And in the more recent history in our Acela system, we found that in 2014, a permit was issued to establish use occupancy for 2 dwelling units on site. And that's all that I have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Thank you. Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant seeking a use and area variances from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. So unfortunately, the use variance isn't on here, but I'll read it. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance. Will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, the appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district. Will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, will be the spokesperson for this case?
It will be me.
And that is?
I'm the owner of the property, Tamara
Tammy.
Jones.
Okay. All right, so we have a reporter here, so whenever you're gonna speak, just say who you are so we can have it for the recorder.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead.
I have owned this property, 9900 Austin, for over 21 years. This was actually, I lived in this property for over 12 years. And I am looking to turn this property into a residential care facility for 55 and older seniors, to be able to give them a place to stay. I am focusing on seniors, but I have actually veterans that is very interested in the property. Very good partnership with Volunteers of America, with the CDC in the area. I actually worked at Famico's for over 15 years as a property manager, director of property management. And I spoke with John Analifo, the executive director, that is in support of the residential care facility. I actually worked with Councilman Conwell when I was at Famico's. I had a residential care facility on the street, down the street at 10205 Austin from 2017 to 2020, and we actually sold the property. So as you know, with the way the state has it is you can't transfer licenses, you have to actually start a new application. So that's the only reason why we're moving the house down to the other house that we own on Austin. When I had that residential care facility, it was I didn't have any problems, no violations. And again, the only reason why I don't have it today is because we sold the property. So the 55 or older residents will be self-sufficient. We will have a staff member every 8 hours throughout the 24-hour shift. And we will partner and continue to partner with in the community for different resources of such. And again, I am a community member, worked in the community, worked very closely with property management and with different CDCs. So I'm asking for the board to consider this adult care facility just down the street.
Okay, and how many residents are you looking to have in the house?
5 residents.
5
And
residents.
I'm sorry, I also failed to mention that I did get a petition, and I had several residents that is in support of it that signed the petition as well.
Okay, and how many bedrooms will you have?
5.
It'll be 1 person per bedroom?
Yes.
All right, I think we covered that. Well, go in order. I'll do Ms. Holyfield first.
Hi, good morning. We are totally against having this group home on our street. I've had several homeowners who have signed the petition that they're against it. The people, the zoning letters clearly states that if you're not the owner and you're a tenant, that you need to pass the letter to the homeowners, and we did that. Some of the people that signed Ms. Jones' petition are tenants. So I feel that the owners that signed the petition are mostly on the end of the street where the home would be. We feel that that home is unsafe. We are already having problems at that house. The house is located on the corner where there is a school bus drop off and pick up. The big thing is that if the taxpayers or the homeowners on that street don't want that group home, it shouldn't be there.
Okay, thank you. Moving on the list, I have Tammy Jones.
Yes, how you doing? I actually live right a couple doors down from that actual home. And the main problem, first of all, is that the initial letter that was sent to us was told to us that it was going to be a facility for mental care people. Okay, I have dealt with people with mental problems. I have dealt with a lot of people in the public in my life. I've been living on this street. Actually, I'm born and raised in the Glenville area all my life. So I've been on this street all my life because my grandmother lived on this street. Now I live right here at 9922, which is about maybe 3-4 houses down from this place. I've already have experienced a situation with one of the residents there already since it's been there. And I personally walked up and down this street. I walked across on 99th. I walked up and down on North Boulevard, which is the street right behind it. I have the papers in my hand where I have all the homeowners over here who are totally not for this facility being placed here. The main thing is that it's going to be unsupervised, okay? Also, even if they say it's supervised, they already have the audacity to post a sign on the side of the house establishing that they already have it as a warranted position, a place already that we are fighting against, okay? I'm not the only one. We have a lot of children over here. We have a lot of elderly people here. It was never established to us that it was going to be just for seniors or just, you know, to help out the community. No, it was initially established to us as a mental facility, and I have a problem with that. So that's my main gripe. And right now, I am a homeowner here. I've been over here, like I said, all of my life. I am 56 years old, and I don't agree with them putting a house there. Thank you.
Thank you. Then next we have Sharon Rhodes.
Good morning. This is Sharon Rose. And again, as Tammy stated, the information that we received said that a mental illness home was trying to be established at that property. And the fact that it is across the street from a daycare, next to a bus stop that children are at every day, we were concerned that that was just not the proper location for a mental illness home. You always know that because of medications, things could go wrong if it's not taken. And the safety of children are the first importance of my thoughts with the home being right there on the corner. I've been at this home for over 35 years. Unfortunately, I don't know Mrs. Jones. I've never met her. But my concern is the safety of the residents here on Austin, the safety first of the children on Austin. And if the type of facility was going to be seniors 55, I may have even looked at everything differently. But that is not the information that we received from the Zoning Appeal Commission in regards to the status of that property and what it's going to be turned into. Thank you.
Thank you. So Ms. Washington Jones, can you explain how your neighbors thinking that you will have a different kind of clientele in your house than what you are testifying for today?
I'm not sure where that came from. I don't know where the word mental came from. It's always been a 55 and older senior residential facility. I'm shocked she said it was something posted at on my yard. No. If it was posted, it wasn't by me or anyone that I know. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'll move on
Madam Chair?
to, yeah.
Madam Chair, this is Liz. Just for clarification, the language that they're referring to is in the codified ordinances. It's specified in section 325.571. It is care services. They're proposing care services, or according to this code section, it mentions services for the following: 1 or 2 unrelated persons with mental illness, 1 or 2 unrelated persons or adults who are receiving residential state supplement payments, or 3 to 16 unrelated adults. So the language is all wrapped into that code section. We generally don't pick things out of it. We just leave the language all in there for the public notice. So that's where the confusion comes from. And then regarding the sign on the property, I believe that would be the city
I thought that was
planning.
our sign. Okay, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
it's gonna be our sign.
I didn't want to say that out of turn, but I believe that was probably the city planning sign saying that that was that a hearing was coming for that house. So for the neighbors, just so you know, you see up here, when there's an actual ordinance, anything that can be covered in that ordinance is listed. So that doesn't necessarily mean that unrelated persons with mental illness will be in that home. It's just these are the things that are listed in that ordinance that will tell you that if they get it, that could be allowed. But the appellant has testified that she is looking for the 55 and older clientele for this house. I'll go ahead and go to Mr. Hawthorne now.
Good morning. Good morning, board and chair. Famicos is familiar with this property and has supports the property as it stands. Realizing that these are yes, a bunch of these properties come for review at BZA as far as group homes, things of that nature. And it's a necessary service that we aren't currently providing in other venues. So this is where people this is where these facilities are being located within the community. And my personal thing is that it's always about the operator, not necessarily the type of clientele that's there. And as long as the operator is knowledgeable and is willing to do all the things to operate it safely and responsibly, then we don't see a problem. So we support this currently.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Holyfield, did you have something else you wanted to say?
I do. To me, it doesn't matter what a non-resident wants on a street where all the residents don't want it. She doesn't live on our street. It comes a time where you have to decide what's important to your street or your neighborhood. We've already experienced something with one of the residents at their home. When does it come to play that a taxpayer who lives on that street, who owns several homes on the street, does not have a say in what goes on our street? There are times that they put things in our neighborhoods that we can't speak on or have, but we are here. You have 4 homeowners on this street on this call who are against this home. And that should be taken into consideration, not what anybody who doesn't live on that street, who doesn't have to deal with what goes on our street. It's not fair to people who pay their taxes, who owns the homes, to have to sit back and let somebody decide what goes on our street. That's not fair to us. And as far as that sign was moved. It was put on the street when the investigator came and took pictures and put the sign on the street. And then all of a sudden the sign has disappeared off that property.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Jones, did you have something else you want to say, as in Tammy Jones?
Yes, Tammy Jones. I was about to reiterate what she just said, is that the person who wants to do these things, yes, you used to live here, but you don't live here anymore. And I agree with what Ms. Holyfield said, that we are the residents here. We pay the taxes to be on this street. We're the ones who keep up the street. We're the ones who actually clean the streets, even though the city has a street cleaning crew. But anyway, we take care of our property around here. We value our property and we value the people around here. And we just don't particularly want that right there in that location. So if she had another location down the street, maybe she could find another facility. But we don't feel like right here where we are on this street is where we would like it to be. And that's my final thoughts about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Councilman.
Here's the thing, I'm off of mute. Everything that the residents say, these residents are very, very active, not only on their streets, Tammy Jones, as well as Irene Holyfield, and as well as Sharon. They're very active in the community. Matter of fact, anything, and I mean anything, from gun shootings to go on, they have to experience that, and they call me to make sure I'm in the middle of it, and I even have to visit some people's homes on that street when they're doing some shooting. Same thing with the street resurfacing and sidewalks repairs. If the city haven't done it, they'll call me up, get involved, privately meet with me to make sure, because they're homeowners. Ms. Holyfield is right. They're homeowners, they're taxpayers, they are my bosses. They got to be able to live there and live the right way. Here's the other issue. If they don't get satisfaction, and they are taxpayers also, then people turn around and they leave the city of Cleveland. I'm shocked that Famicos went this route to probably because they're not walking that street, Famicos, and talking with the residents over there. You gotta talk with them. They're tired of being neglected on that street. I always go with the residents because I, who live on Ashbury, don't live on Austin. So when they tell me things, that's why I walk the neighborhood and walk the streets. So that when they tell me things, Madam Chairwoman and the board, you got to sit back and listen to the residents. So if they don't want it, I'm siding with them. They work in the community. All of them, Tammy Jones, Sharon, Irene Holyfield. Matter of fact, I had to ask them to let me have a break from calling me. They tear my phone up calling me all the time about this because they live on the street. And they'll tell me, Irene Holyfield, tell me in a minute, Councilman, you don't live on the street. We live on the street. We're going to have a say. And you got to listen to the people. So saying that, and I will talk with Famicos later, harped on about this right here, because I'm disappointed in them as well. I support my residents. I don't want this house on the street because it's going to hurt their environment. So thank you very much, board. And I'm open to any questions that you have to ask me.
Okay, thank you.
And I said again, I support my residents. I am against this project on Austin.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. All right, I believe we got everyone listed there. I'll go to city planning now.
Thank you, Xavier Bay, City Planning. Given the feedback from the community, the residents on the street, and the councilman for this area, and that given that this is very close in proximity, actually, it looks like just a few houses away, there's already some residential facilities in operation, and so I think city planning, sorry, not I don't think, but city planning would recommend denial of this, and think another site would be more suitable for this proposal. But another reasoning, for that 1,000-foot buffer is just really to keep these residential facilities less clustered around Cleveland, and so that's our take. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll open it up to my board for any questions or comments.
Madam Chair, I do have a question to Miss Washington Jones. Is the house currently rented to tenants? I'm sorry, the homeowners made a reference to current or recent activities at the house. So I'm wondering, is it rented?
Yes, it's currently rented to tenants.
And have you been able to find tenants easily?
No, it hasn't been that easy. But the need of so many homeless people and veterans that need housing is one of the reasons why I wanted to put the residential care facility again. It's not like I didn't have one on the same street because I own more houses on that street. It's just that, again, you can't transfer the license from one house to another. You have to apply all over again.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Okay,
this
yes.
question, either to the city or to Ms. Washington Jones. The neighbors provided testimony that there is a daycare center across the street. I just want to confirm that that's accurate.
Is it legally a daycare?
Is there a daycare center being operated across the street?
Not that I know of.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, board? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, we've heard the testimony from the appellant as to the group home being used for 55 plus residents that would be essentially self-sufficient, and that there would be a staff person on each shift, 3 shifts a day. The opposition from the neighbors on the street has been both articulate and pretty adamant in opposition. And the councilperson is also in opposition to this. It is unfortunate that the appellant wasn't able to engage with the direct residents in this situation. So as city planning does not support this, given the fact that there are other group homes within the 1,000-foot buffer, which is typically something that we look at rather strongly in terms of approval or not. So with all that being said, I move that we deny calendar number 23-026.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please? Might be muted.
Board Member Holzer, I second.
Ms. Holzer with the second. Go ahead, call the roll. Liz, you're muted if you're talking.
Now I'm muted. Sorry about that. Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar number 23-026 is denied. We will ratify this decision next week, and then we will send the appellant a letter.
All right. Thank you. Good luck to everyone.
Thank
Okay,
you.
next-
Thank
next
you.
case.
Thank you.
Okay, our next case is calendar number 23-063. This is at 4380 East 71st Street. Edmund and Paula Beaulieu propose to establish use as an auto repair shop in a semi-industry and local retail business split zoning district. The owners appeal for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply, I do. State your name and your address, please.
I'm Ed Bolia. My address is 4416 East Pleasant Valley, Independence, Ohio. And my son is here who is taking over the shop. His name is also Ed. So if he could be involved, that's 2 Eds are better than 1.
All right.
There he
If
is.
he's speaking, no, he needs to swear in himself.
Okay, that's fine.
I do. Ed Bolia, 4619 Pebble Creek Court, Peninsula, Ohio.
Thank you. Anyone else on testifying for this?
I do. Maryland Motionski Slavic Village Development, 5620 Broadway Avenue, 44127.
Thank you. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Picture the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The entire project area was zoned semi-industry in 1929 until 1969, when a portion of the project area was changed to local retail. In our records administration office, we found that in 1968, a permit was issued to erect a 1-story brick service station and 2 concrete pump islands, and also to hard surface the area, for parking. We did find 1 variance on file in calendar 86-51 in April of 1986. This board denied a request to use property for sales of used cars. Not to reveal the applicant's age or anything, but he was the owner at this time in 1986. And then, Madam Chair, we don't see anything relevant in the more recent history. Thank you.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Thank you. Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance. Obtain the use variance. Appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Okay, tell us what you want to do with this property.
That's me. Right?
Yes, Ed, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, on the south side, we want to add another bay, roughly a 20 by 48 foot bay to allow a little bit larger trucks to come in. We have a lot of businesses in the area, and they've been coming here for years trying to get us to work on their vehicles. And our bays weren't big enough. The doors are only 11 foot tall and 9 foot wide, and we couldn't get most anything other than cars or a standard pickup truck in. So we just wanted to add that extra bay on it, would allow the access to a larger truck. I've been here for 45 years, and my son here, he's ready to go for another 45. So to be practical and to get the business, we need to have another addition on to, continue. We had an addition on the back in 93. At that point, there was no variance, so I'm kind of puzzled at why the zoning has changed since 93. When we did the other addition, we didn't need any variance, but anyways, I don't know what happens in the zoning departments. So that's what we're trying to achieve as a addition on the one end.
And what kind of auto repair do you do exactly?
What kind of auto repairs?
Yes.
We do everything, no body work, no painting, just auto repairs as far as mechanical stuff would be. Fixing anything that comes in that's other than body work. So it would be the same thing. It's just allowing a little bit larger vehicle, like a box truck or, something larger than a standard size pickup to come into the bay.
No semis or, really giant stuff, just a little bit bigger than what we have now.
Yeah, so like Amazon truck size? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, that size would be able to work on.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Lozinski from the CDC.
Good morning, Chairperson Brett. I'm representing Councilwoman Marr and Slavic Village Development today. Ed did come in and produce the drawings that we reviewed, and we were supportive of the addition. He's been a good tenant and neighbor and stakeholder on that corner, and we are supportive of the addition.
Great, thank you. Board, any questions?
Oh.
Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Hearing
Sorry,
no question.
I was going to jump in there and give a
Oh, I
recommendation.
totally forgot about city plan. I'm so sorry, Xavier. Yes.
Forgot.
city plan.
So, given the nature of like the rest of Grant Avenue going near the end where the addition is actually happening, it's a lot less residential in nature. And even though there is another abutting home right after that next parcel, we'd recommend approval, given it's not, directly next to that residence up there where this addition is occurring.
Okay, thank you. So sorry about that, Xavier. Normally I write it down, so I have it listed, and I didn't do it this time, so I skipped over you. Sorry about that. Okay, go ahead. We can go with a motion now.
All right. So given the fact that there is support from the Slavic Village CDC, which is also representing Councilwoman Marr today, and that the appellant has stated that there will be no body work or auto painting done on the premises, mechanical repairs only. The nature of their addition is to accommodate larger vehicles that would not fit through a 9-foot by 11-foot bay door opening. And many vehicles today that are being used for small businesses, repairs, HVAC, that sort of thing. And as you mentioned, the Amazon trucks fit into that category, needing a larger bay. And the appellant is also doing this for succession planning of the business. So that will lead to more longevity of them occupying property in the neighborhood and supporting the community. So with all that being said, and the support of city council, or city planning, excuse me, I move that we approve calendar number 23-063.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Member Brown, I second.
Ms. Brown with the second. Go ahead, call the roll.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar number 23-063 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday, and we will send the appellant a letter.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you two Eds.
Okay. Thank you. Bring your car in for an oil change.
We didn't hear that. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we can't do that, but thank you for the offer.
Okay. Thank you very much. Are we done?
You're done.
Yes, you're done. Next case, please.
Our next case is calendar number 23-064. This is at 3174 East 66th Street. Trinace Talbert proposes to install a 4-foot high masonry wall along a driveway within 15 feet of its intersection with a public sidewalk, and this is per submitted plans. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address.
I affirm, oh, I'm sorry.
I do. It is John Morris, Masonry Repair Replacement Services. I'm the work.
I affirm Trinace Talbert, 3174 East 66th Street.
Anyone else? Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1892, a permit was issued.
Did we really need to know? Did we really need to know that? No. Okay, but go.
I just think it's fun. There was a room addition to a residential structure in that year. And then in 1960, a permit was issued to erect a coal shed. There are no variances on file. And then in the more recent history in our Acela system, we found that in 2006, a permit was applied for and is shown as being closed as a status to install approximately 39 feet, linear feet of 6-foot high vinyl fence and 76 linear feet of 4-foot high vinyl fence. And then after that, Madam Chair, we see that there were vacant lot cleanup payments assessed to the property in 2007. And And that's it. That's all that I have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellants requesting an area variance from the fence regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Ms. Talbert, go ahead. Tell us what you want to do.
What I'd like to do is to place a partial Masonic wall where you see the hole there, where John has already dug the hole. But we didn't know about all of this. He thought he was doing it toward code, but then we found out that that wasn't the code. It was still too close. It's 8 feet off of the sidewalk already. And what I like to do is finish along the driveway there. I will be finishing that with a fence. I do have vinyl fencing all the way around the yard on the back side. On this side of my yard, I have constant issues with my neighbor. He has a tow truck, a flatbed tow truck, and he has some kind of a scrap yard or something. And he's always bringing cars in and using his driveway for extra space, I guess. And this creates a very ugly appearance. Not only that, but he has a very, very large dog, and I have a grandson, and that dog has darted out of that fence on several occasions and come right over. So there's like no distance between us and him. So there's like no protection. So the fence is being placed there for 2 reasons: one for protection, and one for the appearance, just for pure cosmetics. But as far as the height of the Masonic wall, it will only be 4 feet high. So we did that so that it wouldn't be any where you couldn't see children walking or whatever, so that everybody can see me pulling out of my driveway. There's still 8 feet from the sidewalk to where that fence will start, but it will just give us an opportunity to hear dog coming or whatever as well. And also I wanted the masonry wall there because he's constantly pulling in that flatbed truck. And if I put a fence in, he's gonna hit that.
He'll hit it.
Yeah, he's gonna hit that fence. So it's, so it was just the thought that came to me through a lot of prayer, like, how can I do this? And it was just like, put a partial wall there so that, he'll be more protective then about the fence if it's something that's going to hurt his stuff. So it's just been a, constant thing. But I think the last citation he got, he brought in a car the other day. It's a car over there now, but it's just a constant thing. And I do counseling. I'm a minister and I do counseling. So people are coming on the weekend to get counseling. And when they pull in and you see 6 beat up cars, windows missing, it's just bad. It's bad. And all we've done is try to make this street a better place to live. The whole neighborhood, me and my family go around, we clean up all the trash in the neighborhood, all the way up Bessemer Avenue. It's just been, for 25 years, I've been in this neighborhood and put a lot of work into it, raised my children here, and just I would like to make it keep it a nice place. And I try to show the neighbors how to, just cut grass, put out a couple flowers. We don't have to live in certain zip codes to have nice homes. So I'm not from Cleveland, so I can't say I grew up here, but I've been here 30 years. So Cleveland is my home now. So we've really put a lot of energy into this neighborhood and into this city and into the Slavic Village. And I believe that Slavic Village really is the next up and coming place. And we just need to show people that, hey, you can buy homes in this area and make them look nice. You don't have to live in Cleveland Heights or wherever else to have a nice home in Cleveland. So I just believe that. So.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Talbert. Mr. Morris, is there anything you wanted to add about the wall?
No, ma'am. Actually, she covered all the bases. With it being 8 feet off the sidewalk and only 4 foot tall, we certainly can, have the appearance where you could see her backing out of the driveway or see anybody that would be walking away from the, or walking down the sidewalk. Now it's 16 feet off the street. That's where we were worried about, if we were far enough back, and, we definitely that's why we're asking for this variance where we could get this complete for her. She can move on to her white vinyl fence that would help her out from that horrific scene of her neighbor over there with all them different cars and them towing trucks over there.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
City planning.
Hello, the Xavier Bay, City Planning. With this, our main concern was really just like you stated, just kind of the safety walking down the sidewalk here. So you're saying it's about 8 foot off the sidewalk?
Yeah, so his house actually lines up with that. So you couldn't see anybody anyway because his house is in the way. It's not blocking anything. It goes right next to his house.
So yeah, given that this isn't going to be like right abutting the sidewalk, I believe there'd be enough space for any pedestrians walking through, as well as just kind of like being aware there's a car walking out there. So city planning would recommend approval.
All right, thank you. Board, any questions?
Hearing
Hearing
none, Madam Chair, I'll
entertain a
move
motion.
forward.
Mhm.
We've heard testimony that the wall's gonna be 4 feet high, that it's gonna be 8 feet off the sidewalk, and that it is for protection and privacy, from the neighbor. It's a cute house, and, it is, you don't have to live in certain zip codes to have a nice house in the city of Cleveland. So, with that being said, I move that we approve calendar number 23-064.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Board Member Roca, I second.
Ms. Roca with the second. Go ahead, call the roll.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
You're muted, Terry, if you're talking.
Yes, thank you.
Ms. Faith.
Yes.
Did I call Ms. Roca? I'm sorry.
No, you didn't, but I'm a yes.
Thank you. And Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar number 23-064 is granted. It'll be ratified next week, and we will send the appellant a letter.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Okay, next case.
Our next case is calendar number 23-065. This is at 1352 West 85th Street. Daniela Borbolovia proposes to install approximately 52 linear feet of 6-foot-high fence in a B12 family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances, as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Brown for the oath.
Swearing in all who are present for this case, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address.
I do. My name is Daniela Borbolovich, and my address is 11899 Castleton Lane, Grafton, Ohio 44044.
Thank you. Anyone else on this case? Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Sure.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that there were repairs to a residential structure in 1914. There are no variances on file, and then in the more recent history, we found that in 2022, a permit was issued to erect a 24 by 24 framed garage. There were also interior alterations made regarding installing furnace or rewiring. And then, Madam Chair, I believe that's all that we have that is relevant. Oh, other than, 2010, a permit was issued to erect a 14 by 21 one-story frame room addition. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the fence regulations of zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Okay, ma'am, go ahead. Tell us what you like to do.
Okay, so we purchased the property in 2019 because we want to downsize, we want to sell our property and move in this property. And the reason I'm trying to put a fence right there is for protection and privacy. We have a 15-year-old son, and he's going to be staying nights by himself because we work, both me and my husband. We have a business on Clark Avenue, Fabio's Pizza, and we are open from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. every day, but we leave the place around 3 a.m. in the morning. Now, the area, it's coming up, and we are really happy because we did put a lot of money in that house, but it's still like I don't feel safe leaving my son alone, especially overnight. So the reason I'm asking for this variance is because I want to protect my family.
Thank you. I was just about to say, can you blow that up a little bit, Xavier, so we can see where the fence is going?
Just give me a moment here. Okay, I believe it's this dotted line here.
Okay, so it's just that part. And what kind of fence will you be getting?
So I'm planning to put a wood fence.
Wood fence and 6 feet?
Yes.
Okay. And is that the continuation of wood fence you already have?
Right. The previous
Okay.
fence is also wood fence, 6 feet.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank
City planning.
Okay, Xavier Bay, city planning. Our main concern with this fence was really this kind of safety of people who might be trying to exit through the windows of the next door property here. I didn't get a chance to get that exact measurement, but I believe like if this other picture over here, yeah, you could actually see it a bit better. These windows are, right abutting the proposed fence. And so I think, decreasing the height of the fence would really kind of be suitable, just considering the, safety for people who might be trying to exit out of emergency through these windows. Is that a possibility at all for this proposal?
So right now, the poles that we have in there, they are about 9 feet tall. So the 6 feet will be probably right about by the lower edge of the window. But if you guys can approve of 5 feet, we'll do 5 feet. That's not a problem. I'm just, trying to be a little bit safe in there.
Well, she's willing to go down a foot to 5. Does that work for you, Xavier?
Gotta look back at this other. Yeah, I believe that would be a bit better. Yeah, like I said, the main concern I really have is just people trying to exit out that next door in case of emergencies. Do you know the distance from the building to your fence?
It's about 3.5 feet.
Oh, that's enough room.
Yeah. Yeah. So given that testimony, I believe city planning would recommend approval.
So for the 5 foot,
Correct.
are you okay with 6?
Yeah, I mean 3 feet to jump out. You know, I mean either way, you're going to be butting right into it if it's 6 or 5 feet.
Right.
So yeah, that testimony helps, just kind of knowing, you know, the distance from the structure to the proposed fence. But yeah, I believe 6 feet should be fine.
Okay. Okay, board, any questions?
Can you do two things for me? Can you zoom in on that image of the window of the adjacent building?
Oh, this one?
Yeah, can you just give me that a little larger and I can kind of. Yeah, I actually think we're probably okay at 6 foot on that, given the height of the basement windows and how the height of those above grade, and then where the sill of the first floor window is going to be. So just kind of doing the math on that mentally, I think we're probably okay with 6 feet. And given the distance from that building to the fence. My other question is, could you flip over to the plan view for me, Xavier?
Yep. Here we go.
I just want to see where the gate's going to be. So the proposed gate is at the front edge of the house. So to the appellant, Ms. Barblovia, you've got your gate at the front of the house. And so many people who do that end up parking their cars in front of the gate and never opening the gate to park their cars in the back. So are you intending to do that? And if so, what's the distance from the gate to the sidewalk? Do you know?
I believe I have a sketch somewhere, but we're not planning to park a car on the driveway. I mean, we just put a new garage in. It's a 24 by 24 garage.
Right.
But it's like the porch, it's about 6 feet, and probably it's about another 12 feet. Let me just, I think I have somewhere a sketch. So 12.5. Something
Okay, so
about 20 feet. Mhm.
okay, so you have the distance of at least one car length
Yes,
in front of the gate to the sidewalk.
we did park on that driveway in front of the gate a lot of time, and there's plenty of space.
Because you just need you need to make sure that you don't park over the sidewalk. That's the only concern. Those are my questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions, board? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, Madam Chair, given the testimony we've heard, the clarification of the facts that we've just discussed, we're gonna allow it to remain a 6-foot wooden fence. The gate can stay where it's at. And we have support from city planning. And so I move that we go ahead and approve calendar number 23-065.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Member Brown, I second.
Ms. Brown with the second. Go ahead, call the roll.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar number 23-065 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday, and then we will send the appellant a letter.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
To you.
Appreciate.
Okay, old business. 1 through 3 without objection.
Without objection.
Without objection.
Objection.
All right, it's really nice to see nothing else at the bottom there. Okay,
I should have put a note on there, Madam Chair, that next Monday is our first hybrid meeting. So whoever is planning to attend, you could arrive at room 516 any time between 9 and 9:30. And then we'll go over to 514 together. And I think that's it. This will be interesting.
Liz, I will touch base with you about badges or any types of things we need in that regard.
Okay, right. I think you could just sign in with unless you have a badge, bring it. Not sure if you did get one.
probably
actually.
not. Yeah, just sign in with your ID. You get the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
use your ID. And there are
Liz?
metal detectors. They are really enforcing the metal detectors, just so if you want to pack light.
We're still going through security check. Like we did a few weeks ago when I was there in person.
Yes, yeah, that's not changed, right?
Is that going to be an ongoing protocol probably?
Yes.
We can't just swipe and walk in anymore. Okay. All right.
okay. A motion for adjournment.
I think we've covered everything, Madam Chair, so I motion we adjourn.
All right, so moved. Everyone have a good week.
Thanks.
You too.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
And I did appreciate the Liz, the comment about the house that was built in the 1800s.
Thank you.
That was
I
cute.
get a kick out of that stuff. I don't know.
I know, because usually everything is no changes since 1929, right?
Right.
So
It's
yeah.
random. We get those
So-
really old ones every once in
Yeah.
a while.
So that's great. All
That
right.
and when they say they got a permit to raise the roof, that always cracks me up too.
Yeah.
There are
Mhm.
permits that come across our.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
Okay.
take it
See
easy.
you next week.
See you next week.
Bye, Xavier. Nice job.